Hello everyone, today I want to share some very useful decluttering rules that you can apply when it's hard deciding if you want to keep an item or get rid of it. If you have been watching multiple videos of me where I talk about minimalism, maybe you know that I'm actually not a huge fan of rules. That usually I think rules are something that makes minimalism not being such a good thing, or that rules are something that divides minimalists, or that just makes it harder for us to live a happy minimalist lifestyle. But I do think that if it's hard deciding what you want to keep, or just in every problem you face in your minimalist journey, it can also be very helpful to consider just another point of view by thinking about these rules and thinking, if you apply this rule, how would you decide then? So that is why I'm going to share these rules with you in this video, and I really don't mean that you have to follow any of them. I really don't think that it's the only right way to do minimalism or anything like that. It's just like a thought, another point of view, something that could help you deciding. So if you're new here, my name is Leah. I'm uploading videos twice a week about minimalism. If you're interested in that topic, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And now let's get started. The first rule I have for you when it comes to decluttering items is a very simple one, and that is the question: have you used it in the past 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever time frame you want to give yourself? But just by thinking about when you have used this item last, it can give you a better understanding of if you need this item or if you actually use it on a regular basis, whatever that means to you. I mean, I have ski pants, like warm pants for winter when it's very cold outside, and I don't use them every month. I don't even use them every year. I'm still going to keep them just because I know there will be a point in time where I'm going to use them. They are not taking up that much space, and I know that I will get a lot of use out of them again. The second rule is a rule that you maybe know as well. It's the 1 in, 1 out rule. I don't apply this rule. I don't think it's helpful for me, but I think many people can benefit from this rule, or at least from thinking about it. Because the 1 in, 1 out rule means that whenever you bring a new item into your home, you have to let go of another item. Because if you do that consistently, the number of items you have in your home will never increase. No matter if it's really helpful to you for decluttering or anything like that, it could be helpful to think about it. Because if you just think about how many items you bring into your home in relation to how many items you let go, usually people moving towards minimalism want to decrease their total number of possessions. For me, I think most of the time the number decreases. Most of the time I'm getting rid of a lot more things that I'm bringing into my home. But sometimes maybe it happens that I'm buying more things that I'm getting rid of just because I need more things for a certain event or hobby or something in my life that comes up. For example, my son is going to start school soon, which means I will be forced to buy a lot of school stuff that I maybe wouldn't buy on my own if I could decide. And I'm not gonna get rid of things just because I'm buying school supplies. So there's not always a balance between what I'm getting rid of and what I'm buying new. But I guess usually it works for me that way, that the number of items are decreasing, and just thinking about 1 in, 1 out can help as well, I think. The third question is really for the situation where you have an item in your hands and can't decide if you want to keep it or let go of it. And the question you can ask yourself now is, what are 3 very specific, very realistic moments I can use this thing? What are 3 situations I am going to use this thing in? For example, I was debating on keeping a tripod, and I had a tripod and then it broke, and I was thinking about if I want to buy a new tripod. And then I realized, even though I can use a tripod a lot of times, I'm not really in need of one, because usually there is something else I can put my camera on. Like right now, you are sitting on my windowsill, so I don't even need a tripod right now. I mean, it's very helpful, and I'm actually using a tripod. It's standing right here for a microphone, but it would work without one, and it's the one of my boyfriend. So I just thought about the different situations where I really wanted to have a tripod, and I realized that there are not so many situations where I really would need one. So I decided to not get another tripod, because it's such a heavy thing that takes up so much space in your luggage when you go somewhere. that I'm not willing to carry it everywhere. And usually I have my boyfriend with me and I can borrow his tripod whenever he's not using it. So I don't need a tripod for myself. Another question or rule you can ask yourself if you're not sure if you want to let go of an item or not is, can I use something else for that? Again, I can use the windowsill instead of the tripod, but no, I just mean a lot of times you already have an item that can do that thing, and if you're not really too much into that, or if it's not very important to have the specific thing that's only made for doing what you're just asking yourself, it's perfectly fine to just use a more general device. For example, for kitchen appliances, we have a smoothie maker thing that we use even for making soups and for making hummus and things like that, because it's just a blender that works for everything, even though it's maybe more made for smoothies and maybe making ice cream or things like that. Another example for this would be my camera. I just have one camera, which is fine for doing video and photography. It's much more focused on doing great pictures than video. So I'm having a lot of trouble figuring out how I can stay focused and how I can attach the microphone, how I make sure that the audio, video and everything is working fine, because it's not a video camera, but it works just fine. So I will keep my one camera, which can do video and photo, and won't need to buy an extra video camera. Another very helpful rule is just to not have any duplicates. I have a whole video where I talk about things I only own one of, and it's usually things that most people own several of. For example, I only own one backpack, I only own one pair of scissors, but that's not actually mentioned in this video. I will link the video up here for you to watch if you're interested, but there are just so many things where you can actually get along with only owning one. Maybe sometimes you need two, or maybe you need three, but to just think about how many you actually need maybe already helps to declutter a whole lot of things. So I can encourage you to just think about duplicates or things you have even more of, and think about if you actually need both or all 3 or 5 or 10 of these things. Because sometimes while decluttering, we just see an item, think, oh yeah, it's useful, I use that all the time, and then don't even think further about that. Even though maybe we have 3 of these items, we think, oh, they're useful, we're using them, but it's the same item, so we could easily get along with only owning one of them. So I think that is a very helpful thing to downsize your belongings as well. Now, a very important point and rule is do only keep items that make you feel good. Now, I know this seems a little bit unclear or vague, or like Marie Kondo's sparking joy rule, but I think it is actually very, very helpful, because if we have multiple things, only keep the ones that make you happy. That's very easy. If it's something that you actually need to have, of course you have to keep it. Like I have to keep my paper documents for I don't know what things, insurance papers and things for taxes. They don't make me happy. I still have to keep them. So it doesn't really apply to these things. But even though sometimes we have a thing and we think we need it and we use it, I would consider getting rid of it if it's really something that is not making you happy or that is actually making you feel bad. If your bike is reminding you of something really horrible, maybe you should get another bike or get rid of it. Or if it's, I think it goes for anything. Of course, you shouldn't just throw things out that you use all the time. And also it's maybe expensive to exchange items, but at least I think it's worth thinking about it, because I don't want to have things around me that make me feel bad. No matter if it's because I had a bad experience with it, because it's something that my ex-boyfriend had, or if it's something that is just the wrong color. I think ideally I want to have things that represent how I feel or that are making me happy. So I don't just get rid of things if I think, oh, I'd like the same thing in another color better, but I think about it and try to move towards a future where I have things that make me happy and where almost everything is making me happy. Of course, this also goes for sentimental items. And for sentimental items, I think it's even more important. We feel obligated to keep gifts. We feel obligated to keep memories we had from school, from different times in our lives, but maybe if these times were not really happy times, if we had a difficult school experience, if we had, again, things from our past boyfriends or partners, or just things that remind us of a time or a person that makes us feel bad, maybe we should get rid of them. And I think it would be good if really everybody would try to only have things that make them happy. I mean, everybody would be happier, and that's the world I want to live in. So I think we have to pay attention to how the things we surround ourselves are making us feel. What I am looking for when I buy or bring something into my home is that it makes me feel good, that it is made responsibly, so I feel good about the people that made it, that it has natural materials, that it has like just a overall good energy to them. I don't mean that in any strange way. I just mean I want to bring things into my life that make my life better and not worse, and that don't make me feel bad, that don't make me feel guilty for anything, just things that make my life better. If you want to see more videos about minimalism, I will link you a playlist and a video right here. Thank you so much for watching this video. It means a lot to me, and I hope you could get something out of it, and I also hope to see you next time again. Bye!